Hey everyone, welcome back to the AMF Daddler Mark IV project. As you might recall from the last video I did last winter, I was having some issues with this sled's flywheel. You can see the flywheel's off now. And here it is. Look at that. You can see pretty easily what the problem was. So I was trying to pull this flywheel so I could replace the crank seal on this side. And I used a 3-bolt puller, as you might expect, and guess what? That split off. Cracked right there. Pulled on it so hard that these actually cracked, and the puller was on there nice and straight and even. Turns out that you're not supposed to use that kind of puller. You're supposed to use a threaded puller. Threads right into the flywheel like that and pops it off. I didn't see those threads there. I didn't quite realize, so there's that. I got my hands on a new flywheel from a guy, and I'm going to work on getting it installed today. So the first thing we're going to want to do, of course, is get the two components of the flywheel back together, which is the magneto and the actual flywheel fan itself. And this should just bolt right in. And the way it goes in, the bolt holes only line up one way, so you know you got it in there right. Now for the hard part, you gotta torque down the nut while holding the screw with a screwdriver and try and keep the screwdriver from getting stuck to the magnets on the magneto. So let's get these torqued down. Well, with those bolts tightened down, we can get the flywheel back on now. I got the key stuck in the end of the flywheel, so let's see if I can get it lined up properly and slide it on. Okay, flywheel's back on. Now let's move on to the next thing. Okay, the next thing I want to work on for this sled is the brakes. Now I got to get these apart so I can replace the brake pad in there. One of them is gone and the other one is shaking around and floppy. So, just going to start tearing it down and see what it needs. coated these things in penetrating oil pretty good a little while before I was taking it apart, as I knew it'd probably be pretty well stuck, and well, it isn't. Maybe it isn't because it wasn't in the first place, or maybe it isn't because my penetrating oil worked. Who knows? I'm just glad it's not stuck. There. Okay, got it out finally. Well, there's one brake pad. It's not in bad shape. It's pretty thick, actually. But the other one is just non-existent, so I'm going to have to also free these up. These buttons that push on the brake pad here aren't moving at all. So I'm going to have to pull this apart. I got all the rusty gunk out of the caliper. Now I'm ready to put in my new brake pads and put it back together. I noticed though, neither of my two brake pads sticks out quite as far as this one does. I think I might reuse this original one since it's good and just save one of these for later. Because it's thicker, sticks out further. Plus, this one has a piece of metal on the back which gets pushed on by those two brake buttons. And the new one doesn't, so I'm just going to stick this one in there and keep reusing it. And only use one of the two new ones. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do here, something should have done last year when I was putting it together, but I forgot. So when I was putting this ski spindle arm on here, I happened to forget to put the spring on underneath it. You can see on this side is the spring there. That spring acts as a damper in the steering when things adjust and slide around. So I need to put the other one back under there because I forgot. So I'm going to have to pull that off. And then after I do that, I'm going to put on the other thing I forgot, which you can see that ski has a plastic bushing in it. Forgot to put the one on this ski. So I got those two parts that need to go on that I didn't get on last year. So let's get to that. Oh, that came off easily. I was expecting to have to wedge that off with a hammer and a screwdriver, but no, it came right off. Here's the spring. It needs to go on there. There you go. That was easy. Before I put that back on, I'm going to readjust the steering to make sure everything's straight. Okay, got that done. Let's move on to the next thing. Let's see how hard it is to pull this pin here out of the ski. That wasn't so bad. One of the reasons it's important to have this bushing in here is because with the bushing not in there, there's a little extra space. And it allows your steering to be sloppy a little bit. Sloppy steering feels pretty terrible, so hopefully this bushing should put an end to that. There. Okay, now I'm going to replace that with an actual cotter key this time. There we have it. Proper cotter key like I told you. Alright, let's do the next thing now. Okay everyone, the next part for the ski daddler just came in. I got an original gas tank for it. Let's take a look at it. Here it is. The cap is a little old and the plastic looks like it's cracked. Let me... It's a little rust in there too. But it should work for now just fine. It's got the fuel hookup here. And of course the atmospheric vent here so it doesn't depressurize and lock up. I do need to take this out. There we go. And It's a little rusty. I might clean that up a little bit. Oh, it's not too bad. Make sure the passages here are clear, and put some fuel line on the bottom here so that I can reach all the way to the bottom of the tank. Then I can probably install this thing pretty quick and have a fuel tank on that sled now. Alright, so this thing reaches pretty close to the bottom of the tank on its own, so it doesn't need very long chunk of fuel line, just a little bit. Okay, it's on there. Should work alright. First I'm going to see if I can dump any debris out of there. There's a little dirt in there. Some weed seeds, actually. Wouldn't want those little seed pods getting sucked up into the fuel line. Okay, I think everything's out. I can feel the fuel line running into the bottom of the tank, so I know it's reaching. Okay, in theory that should be tight enough not to leak. That might not end up being the case. I might need to pull it out and put a rubber gasket in there. But for now, I'm reasonably certain that it won't leak, so we're going to try it. Okay, it's been a couple days since I last recorded. You can see the ski Daddler's not in here anymore. Just so happens, we got some snow, and I brought it out. You can also see, by now I've reattached the seat, put on a quick windshield, and it's ready to go. So let's take it for a ride here, shall we? Alrighty, well, as you can see, it ran and drove, did a good job of it too. A few things, like you can see, there's the new fuel tank that I put in. I got a nice gas cap on it. You can also see I still have quick disconnects on the headlight cable here that I haven't put any electrical tape or shrink wrap or anything over. I need to deal with those, of course. And the steering is a little wiggly here. Needs a new bushing, so that's something to work on too. Another thing that's a little bit worse than that, though, is the famous J-Lo pull starter strikes again. This thing decided to bust a recoil spring, I think. I haven't taken it apart to check yet, but it was when I was starting it a little while ago, near the end of the riding videos that I was taking. But other than that, the sled is pretty good so far. Had a lot of fun with it. We don't have a ton of snow, though, so the videos I took might not have been the most interesting you've ever seen. But hey, maybe we'll get some more snow a little later this year and get some more videos. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that you actually get to see the next video I'm in. The YouTube algorithm doesn't always, give you what you want. And I'll see you guys next time.